Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and I got a little anime collection update video for you. You'll know if you're a longtime subscriber of this channel, I did do an anime collection video maybe a few years ago, and I'll include a link to that video in the description box below. I just went through my anime collection, which is very small for an anime collector, but over the past year I have added to that. So I figured I would do an update video on the anime that I have purchased over the last 12 or so months. I've also included links to trailers and or clips to all of these anime in the description box below. So be sure to check that out. If you're interested in any of them, you want to watch a trailer. You're going to see kind of, I guess, a little bit of a trend on the anime that I have focused on over the past year. And these are the types of anime that I could see myself rewatching, and I've had the itch to rewatch them, so to speak. So we're gonna go through them. Some of them I remember more than others, since I've watched them on and off over the past year plus. Now I'm going to start with the ones that I have not actually seen, and there are 3 that I have not actually seen yet. The rest I've seen before. So let's do this. And the first one should be somewhat familiar to you, because I reviewed the live-action movie version just recently. And that is Doomed Megalopolis. Yes, this is the anime version of Tokyo, the Last Megalopolis, the live-action film. I think they were both adapted from the same source material. I've always wanted to watch this, but for some reason it always escaped me. And I was able to find the DVDs for a reasonable price. I want to say on eBay. I think I bought this one on eBay. And a lot of there's a mix of DVDs and Blu-rays in this update video, but a lot of them are DVDs because sometimes you can find those pretty cheap online, even if they're used. So this Doomed Megalopolis, you basically have 4 episodes apparently, 4 OVAs, original video animations, I believe. The Haunting of Tokyo, The Fall of Tokyo, The Gods of Tokyo, and The Battle of Tokyo. And if you want more detailed information, just watch my Tokyo the Last Megalopolis live-action review, because it should have a similar plot. But this says, the powerful mystic Kato's obsession with conquering Tokyo awakens the long-dead spirit of Masakato, the legendary guardian of Tokyo. Unable to stand alone against the power of Masakato, the calculating Kato uses an innocent woman as an unsuspecting pawn in the hope of producing an offspring capable of challenging Tokyo's mystical protector. This is a dark tale of depravity. I'm all for animated depravity and redemption that will get under your skin and chill you to the bone. So that's pretty cool. This is actually a 2-disc set. It says 175 minutes. That's almost 3 hours worth of anime goodness. So, yes, Doomed Megalopolis. I can't recommend it yet because I haven't seen it, but I get a feeling it's going to be pretty good because I did enjoy the live-action film quite a bit. Alright, the next one I have not yet seen is Blood Sea. Yes, Blood Sea. And this is actually a Blu-ray. This is a Blu-ray pack. This is one of those save ones, these are kind of like the cheaper versions of the stuff you can get, but I don't care. As long as it has the full series uncut, I'm good. So, the creators of Blood the Last Vampire, which is a good anime film, and Blood Plus, which I have not yet finished. I watched a few episodes of Blood Plus years ago, and I kind of fell off of it, but I will return to it. But that team comes back here, and it injects a new addition to the bloodline of anime. So horrifying beasts with a hunger of human flesh prey on the citizens of a quiet town. In moonlit twilight, Saya slays the monsters and returns home drenched in blood. Well, this sounds good. I hope this is violent. I think I saw this on like a violent anime list, which is one of the reasons why I got it. So that's kind of like the basic start for you. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis, but yeah, we'll see if this one is particularly good. You got 12 episodes on 2 Blu-ray discs, and Japanese audio with English subs. So I'll let you know at some point what I think of it. Alright, the next one could be big. Now, I'm going to show you the one that I have seen first, and then I'll show you the ones that I just bought that I have not seen in terms of this particular franchise. Foolie Coolie. Yes, Foolie Coolie. This is the Malaysian release that I got years ago. I think I watched this like 12 years ago or something, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really cool anime. And it's basically 6 episodes, 25 minutes each. It's a coming-of-age story about a boy who meets a crazy girl, and eventually he gives birth to giant robots out of the top of his head. Like that's what we're dealing with here. It's insane, but it's good quality insane and quite funny. So I really enjoyed Foolie Coolie back in the day, and I showed you this in my original anime collection video. So I figured I may as well get the sequels or the spin-offs here. So I got 2 of them. I saw these on Amazon and I was intrigued, and I got them pretty cheap actually. You have Foolie Coolie Progressive and Foolie Coolie Alternative, and these are all DVDs. All the stuff I showed you so far are either Region 1 or All Region. So yes, I have no idea if these are going to be any good. I really don't. Hopefully they're good. That's all I know. Or that's all I hope for. So, given the fact of the pedigree of the original show, I'm hoping that these are good. I'll let you know maybe eventually what I think. These are not particularly long. Well, this one's 2 hours long. They're both over 2 hours long, so it's an extra 4 hours of Foolie Coolie goodness, hopefully. But we'll see. Hopefully they're good. The next one's a big one from fairly recent years. Now we're on all the ones that I've seen before, and I just bought recently to add. Redline. This one's from 2009. It's an action anime film. You basically get deadly car races. I have some notes over here. And a driver who attempts to win them. The animation is phenomenal in this. Really cool animation. The story and the characters in this film, they're pretty good, but that's not what sells the film for you. What sells you the film is the animation and the car race scenes, which are phenomenal. They're outstanding. You know, the middle section might be a little bit slow for some people, because basically the characters, they're not really too deep. So you'll get the characters like doing stuff like giving interviews to the press between the races, or tuning up their cars, or interacting with each other. You know what I mean? That's a lot of the plot in this during the middle. But still, I mean, the races are so good, it's worth watching. And I find myself wanting to rewatch this quite a bit lately, just because it's so much fun to watch. So if you haven't seen Redline, check it out if you're into action anime. Now, there are actually bonus features on this one, of which I don't think there were any on the previous ones that I showed you. A quick guide to Redline, and then the trailer. So not a lot of bonus features, but it's good enough for the film itself. Now, another one here. This is a big one for me. This is one of the first 2 anime films that I had ever seen in my life. Back in the day, the Sci-Fi Channel used to show anime on like Saturday mornings, and there were 2 anime that really hit me hard way back in the day when I was a kid. There was Robot Carnival, which I think I showed in one of my collection videos. I love Robot Carnival. And the other one that I saw early on is Venus Wars. Venus Wars. So in this one, you basically have it's like a futuristic tale. You have a world, Venus, I guess. I think it's actually on Venus, ravaged by a civil war between 2 governments, and a motorcycle racer gets caught in the conflict. Bunch of action in this. It's like a crowd pleaser anime. Some good tank battles, destruction, good use of motorcycles. Just a good old-fashioned, no-nonsense anime flick. And I remember really enjoying this. And I rewatched it a few years ago, and it holds up very well. So Venus Wars is another one I would recommend. This is from 1989. 1989. Redline was from 2009. I'll just give you the years here. Coolie, the original was 2001, and the new ones are 2018. And Blood Sea was from 2011. I think Doom Megalopolis was like early 90s or late 80s. So yeah, Venus Wars is one that I will return to quite a bit. Probably on a Saturday morning, because that's what I always remember watching on Saturday mornings. That's another big one from Satoshi Kon this time. Paprika, never had this in my collection. I don't know why. Most people know this is a great film. There are more Satoshi Kon films I need to add to my collection, or TV shows, so I should do that soon. This came out in 2006. It's a machine invented for dream intervention is stolen and used to create delusions among the populace in this film. So, good mystery elements, character development. The premise gives the animators an excuse to do all kinds of crazy stuff, because a lot of it is dreams and hallucinations, and the blending of that with reality. And they come correct with this. There's some really cool stuff in this. Very exotic type visuals. A really good score. The music is great in it. And, yeah, this is basically a must-watch. It's pretty fantastic stuff. Special features. You get a few making-of documentaries and other specials. Filmmaker. Ooh, there's a filmmaker commentary on this? I gotta check that. They don't say who the filmmaker is, though. I have not seen the commentary on this, so I should probably check that out. Some are, may not be suitable for children, though. There are a few scenes that get pretty dodgy. It's Satoshi Kon. I mean, you should know this. Alright, now we get the next few. The next few are old school. It's just old school entertainment we're getting into here, people. If you haven't guessed yet. We touched upon that a little bit with Doomed Megalopolis, which I haven't seen, and Venus Wars. We got a bunch more coming up here. We got Angel Cop. Oh yeah. This came out between 1989 and 1994, and there's 6 OVAs, original video animations, 22 to 31 minutes each. An elite security unit battles terrorists who target Japanese cities. This is just like old school, no-nonsense entertainment. It's the type of stuff that I like. Like this type of anime, like with Venus, or yeah, Venus Wars, I guess, qualifies. And like a lot of other stuff that I have. I like watching late at night. You know, I get some beers and I watch a few of these in a row. This one's pretty short, though. Well, about 3 hours worth of anime, but it's good stuff. Good stuff. You get some bloody graphic violence, which if you can tell, that's what I like in my anime. Some exploding bodies. The villain is tough in this. And the English dub is quite amusing. Quite a bit of awkward swearing in this, which is always great. So if you're into that type of anime, check out Angel Cop. Yes. Not a lot of special features on this one, just the episodes. That's fine. It's 3 hours long. Yep. In like manner, we have another one from back in the day, guys. Back in the day. Now, a lot of these I did not watch until maybe like the mid-2000s. But they give you that feel of back in the day. AD Police. Here's another one. Man, that's, what is that, Cyborg? It's pretty diesel there. Came out in 1990. Oh, it's an android. Sorry, androids run amok, and the police try to take them down. Lots of bloody violence and trashy entertainment value I have in my notes. Very trashy. Robots are kind of creepy. And this is 3 OVAs, 26 minutes each. So this is a short one. Just over like an hour. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. The third OVA has some similarities to RoboCop. They might have ripped it off, but that's fine. That's fine. You know, it's a neat watch for fans of old school anime. AD Police, baby. Get image gallery, trailers, music videos. Nothing really huge, but it's another one I would recommend. I enjoy this. Right, now we're going to shift to one from recent years. I don't think I did not review this. Did I? It's getting to the point where I forget what I review or not. In any case, if you have not seen this and you want to keep up with anime in recent years, you gotta watch this. Promere. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. This one has pretty wild animation. This came out in 2019, just a few years ago. A futuristic firefighting mecha service is created to protect the world. Very colorful and unorthodox animation. There's a lot of fire and ice visuals. Really neat. Pacing is fast. You get some crazy fight sequences. And it's a very frenetic film as well. It moves fast and furious. This is kind of a crowd pleaser. And I would consider this to be close to balls on the wall insane, is how I would describe it. Very entertaining. If you've not seen Promere, definitely check it out. It's really cool. And, you know, watch the trailer or whatever that I put in the description box. This is the studio. Oh, the director of Gurren Lagann. I did not know that. It kind of makes sense now. The director of Gurren Lagann did this. So, yes, you should watch it. We got a few more classics here. We've got Street Fighter 2, the animated film. I mean, do I even need to talk about this? If you haven't seen this, you need to watch it. Especially if you like anime action. This came out in '94. Based on the video game. It's basically characters beating the crap out of one another. The choreography is quite good. The fightings is good in this. Lots of brawling to enjoy. The best sequence involves a half-naked hottie, I have in my notes, Chun-Li, I believe, who fights a masked killer named Vega. You know you want to watch this. I'm trying to remember, I think the soundtrack for this has KMFDM on it. I think KMFDM Ultra was showcased on this, and you get to hear it in the film. So you get some good music in this too, if I remember correctly. It's been a little while since I've seen it. Not a whole lot of features. A lot of these have just like trailers and some brief featurettes. You're not going to get a ton of special features. Well, on one of the ones that's coming up you might. But and basically all of these are Region 1 DVDs or Blu-rays. There's no odd region codes here. So since I like that film so much, Street Fighter 2, I'm like, hey, let me check out some of the other Street Fighter films. So I got Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter Alpha Generations. Alright. And these came out in 2000, I think. They're pretty good. They're pretty good, but they're not as good as Street Fighter 2. You know, you basically get a 93-minute film. Animation quality is less impressive. For the year 2000 especially. But there's enough action and stuff to hold your interest. So I would say definitely watch Street Fighter 2, the anime, first. If you really like that one, check out Street Fighter Alpha. You might get some enjoyment out of it, but it's not as good as Street Fighter 2. Alright, let's rotate back to current times. I'm trying to mix it up here. Some old school, some new school. Alright, some new school here. Yoshiki. This is the Malaysian all-region release. It has the anime show in its entirety and the live-action film, which both came out the same year, and they're both awesome. Like, if you're going to watch a recent anime series and or live-action adaptation, this is a fantastic thing to get. I got this off of eBay, I think, at a reasonable price. It's fantastic. I mean, it's an adult-themed anime, but it has good writing in it and good character development, and they bring it right on over to the live-action film, which I think is just as good as the anime. So you basically have a middle-aged office worker encounters aliens and is gifted with alien technology and limitless powers, as does a teenage, basically sociopath, really. And this basically tells you the story of how each of them use their powers differently and how it affects them differently. It's a dark tone. There's some bloody scenes, some violent scenes. It gets pretty intense. There are some mean-spirited people in the story, but it has a lot of craftsmanship to it. And, there's a scene with internet trolls in this. That's one of my favorite scenes in any anime in recent memory. It involves internet trolls, and it's so satisfying. Both in the film and the anime. So, this is good stuff. The anime is only 11 episodes long, so you could churn right through it. Highly, highly recommend this. Highly recommend this. Alright. Got a weird one from 2008. Fairly new. It's called Kaiba. Yes, Kaiba. It's kind of like an anime fantasy drama. It's directed by Masaki Yuasa, who's a huge, probably one of the most exciting anime directors of all time. But certainly from the past 20 years. He did a whole bunch of good stuff. In this one, you have a dystopian future world. Memories are stored, literally stored, bought, and sold. And you have certain people with a lot of privileges. And this revolves around a young amnesiac who's trying to find out who he is. And the animation, very creative and fun in this. High-quality animation style. Has kind of like an old-school vibe to it, though. Which I like. But the worlds that are created are very fun. Bit on the weird side. Definitely been on the weird side, but it's very interesting. 12 episodes long. Yeah, if you haven't seen Kaiba, this is one that flies way under everybody's radar. Even though it's a Yuasa. Actually, a lot of Yuasa's stuff flies under the radar. Believe it or not. Which is kind of odd. Every one of this guy's stuff should be well known. Really. It really should. Even his mediocre stuff is worth watching. So, yeah, if you haven't seen Kaiba, I got this off of eBay. You might be able to get it. Going old school again, my friends. We're going old school, baby. We got Devilman. This is a Blu-ray set. Devilman. These are OVAs from 1987 to 2000. I'll get to the 2000 one in a minute. I had to buy it separately. Horror action. A high school boy becomes a demon-human hybrid and battles against other demons. So you basically have 3 hours of content here. Each OVA is about an hour each. You have The Birth, Demon Bird, and Amon, Apocalypse of Devilman. Now this, I think this is, this is not entirely accurate. When did this come out? Because this says the complete OVA series, and I figured I would get all 3 of the OVAs, but I only get 2 of them. So, I don't know. Depending on when this came out, it might have been kind of a rip-off marketing ploy. Or maybe it was the complete when it came out. I don't know, though. I don't know. But you get the first 2 OVAs in this, and I had to buy the 3rd one separately. No real special features. But this is good stuff. It's like a series of nightmare sequences. You ramp up the gore legitimately. There are some disturbing levels of gore in this for an anime, for sure. Some nasty, graphic murders. The story and characters are kind of underdeveloped, but monster designs are cool. Some horrific atmosphere. The use of color is a bit blunt and messy, but very interesting to look at. And the final fight in Demon Bird is very lengthy, and the demon lady's tough. There's also some nudity in this, so, you know, fans of anime will enjoy. So if you want to get into Devilman, I would say definitely get the first 2 OVAs. And then, unfortunately, I think you have to get the 3rd one separate, or you watch it on a streaming site, which I got right here for you. And I actually had to get the Japanese DVD of this without subtitles, I believe. And this is Amon, Apocalypse of Devilman. I think the legit US DVD is like expensive or something. There was a reason why I had to get the Japanese DVD like used on eBay. But I know I've seen this with subtitles in the past. But this is a good finale to the story. So yes, Devilman. It's pretty good. I remember, I think Japan came out with a live action version of this in the 2000s, and it was horrible. It was terrible. The live action Devilman is terrible. Don't watch it. But watch the anime. And I think there was an older one too that I think I saw a few episodes on, but not all of it. So I got to catch like the original Devilman from way back in the day. If I'm thinking of the right one. All right, this is probably the biggest purchase that I've had anime-wise. And oh, what do we got here? This is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. And this is of a recent one, Ajin Demi-Human from 2006. This is volume 1. I got volume 2 right over there. I'll show you. Very sweet collection here. It's an action television series. And inside the box, you get all kinds of stuff here. You got the first edition of the manga, which I have not read yet, but I'm looking forward to. Hopefully I don't get too addicted to it, otherwise I'll have to buy the rest, right? So you actually get the manga for the first book in this set. You get a nice little booklet with some production credits and stuff like that. And then you get 2 cases, one with the Blu-rays and one with the DVDs. And Ajin Demi-Human, it's... Now, I understand the animation house behind this. I forgot the name of it. Is it called Paragon or something like that? But it's a lot of people don't like the animation style because it's very kind of cel-shaded. And a little bit odd CG animation in this. So the animation quality of this show is not the best. You know what I mean? It's not the best, but the action in this show comes correct. I mean, you got a high school boy becomes a demon-human hybrid and battles against other... Oh, I'm sorry. That was Devilman. It's kind of the same plot for Ajin. A group of demi-human beings... stop a crazy bad guy who wants to wipe out all humans in Japan or on the planet. This is 26 episodes long, and the reason to watch Ajin Demi-Human is the action. Like, the action scenes in this anime are very well done. There's a lot of it. The villain is fantastic. It's like this old dude who's just a badass, and he's tough to take down. Anytime you got something like that, you got me locked in. You got me locked in, and the pacing is good. The criticism I would make of Ajin, outside of the non-elite CG animation, is that, you know, because they're high school kids, you're going to get a little bit of the filler material associated with that. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of wish they just focused on the main conflict, because the bad guy is so compelling. Anytime they're focused on him and battling him, this is like top-notch anime. But when they get into like the side plots and stuff, it's a little less interesting. But this is volume 2 here. But this is definitely worth watching. And you know what? I think the live action adaptation of this is better than the anime. I think it's better than the anime. So I did a review of the live action film. Check it out on my channel. That's a good flick. Very good contemporary Japanese action film. Then you get this booklet here with a whole bunch of like pics and like episode summaries and all kinds of stuff. So it's a pretty sweet little release here. Yeah, here's the bad guy, the old dude with the hat. Man, you want to see that guy get taken down, man. He's real like smug. Oh, man. I wanted to see him die so bad. So, yeah, it's a good show. I recommend it. Good show. And the live-action film is even better, I think. But they could make another season of this if they wanted, but they haven't in 5 years. So I don't know maybe it wasn't as popular as they were hoping, because they probably would have made a season 2 by now, right? But still, it's worth watching. All right, we got another one that's very well, I guess you could say it's controversial. It's another one you hear about. Again, you could tell when I was buying a lot of these, you know what I Googled? Violent anime. That was my Google search for a lot of these purchases. Either I saw them before, or I recently saw them over the past year because they were violent. Because I don't know, I just really like the trashy and or violent anime. So this is another one for you, and it's a Blu-ray, I believe. Yes. Geno Cyber. Oh yeah, baby. You know what I'm talking about. 1994. 5 OVAs, 30 minutes each. Notorious for its violence. I think there's a few clips on YouTube that I rewatched. It's hilarious, the violence in this. It's just so ridiculous. It's basically... I didn't even write the plot of the show in my notes. It's basically... You watch this to see animated flesh destroyed, is why you watch this. Plot's a bit confusing. It involves a young psychic, a deadly weapon, and lots of conflict. Worth it if you want violence. Those are what my notes say. A nightmarish combination of cybernetics and psychic potential. Oh, yes. Yeah, this is good stuff, guys. Geno Cyber. I'm thinking of a few scenes in my head right now, and it's making me freaking laugh. It's so absurd at times. And here's another one for you. You ready for this? Listen, this is what I watch. Fist of the North Star, the movie. I showcased the actual show in a previous update video, collection update video, and that's 150 episodes, so I don't know when I'm going to get to that. But I've seen the movie multiple times, and this is good stuff. Made in 1986, after a nuclear holocaust, mankind engages in acts of domination, driven by powerful dudes with supernatural strength. Very violent and bloody, but in a fun way, similar in some ways to the live-action Riki-Oh movie, because the fights usually end with 1 or 2 gory punches and some exploding body parts. So yeah, it is kind of like Riki-Oh a little bit. Some funny lines of dialogue. There's a 100 crack fist attack that's amusing. Plot's kind of messy, too many characters, but it's an entertaining flick for sure. This one's very popular, and for good reason. I like it. The most violent and action-packed animated film of all time. Not sure if I would say that, but it's certainly those things. All right, we got now this one. Very highly criticized online, and I can understand. When I originally bought it, it was because I Googled violent anime, so I just bought it just because of that. But then after I saw it, I kept reading these reviews, and I kind of understand why people hate this. Because they were, like, just about to ramp up the story to these are OVAs. They were ramping up the story, and then they stopped making them. So you have, like, and I'm talking, of course, about Ninja Resurrection. You get 2 OVAs. They were made in 97, 98. And, you know, it's set in the Tokugawa regime, and the shogun has outlawed Japanese Christians. They believe in a prophecy that a man named Tenchi will either become the new Christ or Satan. Briskly paced, good amount of bloody, gory violence. There are a few graphic scenes in this, so this is not for the kids. It's got 80-minute runtime here. The problem is that the second OVA ends in the middle of the story. Like it's not even an ending. Like, even if they don't make another season of Ajin Demi Human, it was still kind of an ending, right? There's no ending to this. Like, you can't even interpret it as an ending. Like, the end of the second OVA, you're like, all right, let's go, and then there's no more. So I can understand why people don't like this because of that. But if you want a violent anime, and you don't mind an incomplete story, it's not bad. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's definitely a little disappointing. You think they would just fund. You know, they'd say, okay, we're funding 5 OVAs right off the bat. But I don't know. I can't imagine this was that expensive to make. You know what I mean? But whatever. Now here we got one that's not very popular at all. I don't think I ever heard anyone mention this. I just happened to see it listed on a list of violent anime. Sin the movie. 2000. Action horror. You have a semi-cyborg cop unravels a series of mysterious kidnappings. As he delves into the city's merciless underworld, a mystery unfolds. You get some nasty, deadly humanoid monsters in this. Sufficiently entertaining, decent amount of bloody violence. Not excessive violence, but a decent amount of bloody violence. My main problem with this is that it wasn't as memorable as most of the stuff that we've covered. I mean, there's scenes in, you know, in a lot of these that you will remember, right? This one seemed like a little bit more generic in where it was going, but still, hey, you know, if you're grabbing some beers, you want to check out an anime, it's sufficiently entertaining. Sufficiently entertaining. So yeah, it's about 60 minutes long. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now the next one impressed me, and I've heard about it for years. I heard about this for years, and I just watched it recently. And I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I've looked to see if I could buy it, but I don't know if it was unavailable for a while or what. But I recently bought it, and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. And that is rmitage 3. Now these were released between 1995 and 2002. You get 4 OVAs that are over 2 hours total, and 1 movie called Dual Matrix that's 90 minutes long. So you get 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours of content in this. And this is good. This is like good quality. In the year 2046, a cop and his female android partner called rmitage, part of the latest android known as Class 3, who act and feel human. They investigate illegal manufacturing of Class 3 androids on a colonized Mars. And there's a little bit of violence and nudity, but nothing excessive. This isn't trashy at all. This is like good quality adult animation, adult-themed animation. Story and characters are good. Overall quality is legitimate. The film, Dual Matrix, kind of ups the action more. When you watch the OVAs, there's not really that much action in it. It's more character-based. But then they upped it with Dual Matrix. So if you're going to watch rmitage 3, I say you watch the OVAs and the film Dual Matrix together in one night. And it's very good. I really enjoyed this. Not really any special features. Once making of, maybe. But yeah, this is cool. It's good stuff. Alright, this one I never even heard of before. I saw it on some recommendation list. Apparently it's like a part satire of anime, but it kind of takes itself seriously. And that is Bastard. Bastard. 1992 to 1993. Gets 6 OVAs, about a half hour each. A Dark Lord is trying to destroy his foes. He tries to take over the world with his demonic armies and bed women along the way. Or something like that. So, premise is actually really funny at first. Like it seems like a satire a lot early on. There's a little boy who occasionally turns into an adult badass. So the young girl who's like his friend has difficulty figuring out how to deal with possible romantic feelings towards him. And I found that to be very amusing. But it feels like it gets more serious as it progresses. I might need to watch it again. But it's kind of like a half satire of anime tropes. And but there are a lot of like monsters, violence and nudity, and some dark fantasy elements. So if you haven't seen Bastard yet, check it out. It's pretty entertaining. I don't know if it's necessarily high priority, but it's good. All right, we're on the final 4 films here, and they're all big time. I probably don't even have to talk about them. But I will. And that is Akira. Blu-ray DVD. I felt like I had to have this on Blu-ray. You know what I mean? Just because the visuals are so outstanding. Akira, I'm telling you, the first few times I saw this, I thought it was overrated as all hell. Really, just horrendously overrated. I'm like, what's the big freaking deal? I think there was just too much freaking hype behind it. I went in with way too many expectations. But then over time, you know, I watched it maybe 3 times over the course of 20 or 15 years plus. And the last few times I've seen it, I've really enjoyed it. You know, I think I kind of put aside the expectations of it being a freaking like masterpiece of all around. I really think the strength of this is the visuals. It really is. And a lot of the problems I had with it the first time I saw it kind of still hold true. I mean, the first 2/3 of this movie is phenomenal. And then the last third, I'm like, I mean, it's basically people screaming at each other and stuff blowing up. It's basically what it is. But still, I enjoy it a lot more. I think I've kind of come to terms with it, with what it is. But again, this is one that I get the urge to watch this a lot more often nowadays because the visuals are so phenomenal. You know what I mean? They're really good. And this version has sound clips, director interviews, storyboards, all kind. You know, this has a pretty good amount of extras in it. It's the Funimation, I think, release. So, yeah, I mean, it's a must-watch. And I think I'm finally starting to really enjoy it and become a fan of it, so that's good. And then finally, we have 3 Studio Ghibli films. Imagine that. I don't think I've ever talked about this Studio Ghibli in the 5+ years I've doing this channel. I don't think I have. You know, Ghibli, again, when I first started getting it, it took me a long time. I talk about this in my first anime collection video. It took me a while to become a fan of anime. It was just, the stuff I was watching was, there was just so much hype behind every single title I was watching, with the exception of Venus Wars and Robot Carnival that I saw early on, which I really liked. But then everything else, when I started getting into Japanese films in the mid-2000s, I'm like, yeah, let me get back into anime, or, you know, really delve in. And I got all like the highly acclaimed stuff, and like none of it was reaching the expectations I had set for it, with the exception of a few. So I think that was a problem. And it wasn't until I saw Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo back-to-back days where I finally felt like, okay, I'm a fan of anime now. Because I never really got on a hot streak. Every time I watch an anime film, I'd be like, oh, that was good. And then I hit another one, and I'd be like, it was kind of overrated. I'd be like, oh, that one's good. And I'd be like, it's freaking overrated. You know what I mean? So it was very hit or miss for a while. And, you know, some of the Ghibli films I just don't like. I still don't like some of them. But the ones that I bought are what I remember being my 3 favorites. So hopefully they hold up. You get Spirited Away. I'm getting the itch to watch this one again. Bonus features, you get a few specials and behind-the-scenes featurettes. But yeah, I don't know. This is a Miyazaki film. Definitely watch it if you haven't seen it. It's really good. And you got Kiki's Delivery Service. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack. Fantastic. Again, it's another Miyazaki film. And I don't even know. There's nothing really to say about these movies. That's why I probably don't review them, because what am I going to say? You get some special features in this. Again, this is one that I've been itching to rewatch recently, so I got it. And then finally, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Another Miyazaki film. So, you get audio commentary on this one by Hideaki Anno. Ooh, I should definitely check that out. Interesting. But I remember all three of these being really good. And that's it. That's pretty solid anime haul for a 12-month period. I rewatched a good number of them. A few of them I still need to watch for the first time. A few of them I still need to rewatch for the first time in years, but a nice mix. You could tell the type of stuff that I'm interested in by this. The type of stuff that I just like to kick back and drink some beer and watch, some crazy stuff. But yes, if you've seen any of these, or a bunch of them, just let me know maybe what your favorites are. And, yeah, that's it. I'm definitely still collecting anime, especially anything that I really like. And I'm starting to seek out some of the older stuff that maybe flies under the radar a little bit nowadays for people. But yes, there you go. And as always, I will see you next time.